I'm Ralph, 48 years old, and I never thought my life would unravel so spectacularly, so painfully. I was a mid-level manager at a respectable tech firm, a comfortable routine, or so I thought. My wife, Eleanor, 45, was the glue of our family, a warm, intelligent woman who'd sacrificed her career to raise our kids. Jamie, our son, was 10, full of boundless energy and endless questions. Kelly, my 16-year-old daughter, was navigating the treacherous waters of adolescence, a mix of brilliance and teenage angst. And then there was Sarah, 32, my new administrative professional. She was a breath of fresh air, a spark of something I hadn't felt in years. Charming, witty, and undeniably attractive, she made the mundane aspects of my job feel exciting. I told myself it was just harmless banter, a fleeting distraction. I was fooling myself. It started with late nights at the office, working on projects that could have waited until morning. A lingering touch here, a suggestive comment there. I rationalized it, telling myself I was a grown man, capable of handling a little flirtation. But that was a lie I clung to, a lie that would shatter everything. On a random Tuesday, Sarah and I were in my office, the door closed, laughing over some silly inside joke. The air crackled with a tension I'd ignored for too long, finally giving in to the moment. I gave in and we started to sleep around. I thought I would never get caught, so we began to do it at my place when the kids and my wife were out. On Friday, when I knew my wife would be out with our son and that Kelly would be out too, we took an early break and went to my house. We were getting busy on the couch. Sarah was on top of me. Then, the front door slammed shut. My heart lurched. Someone was home early. I heard footsteps. Then our eyes met. It was Kelly. The look on her face, it's etched into my memory like a permanent scar. Her eyes, usually bright and full of life, were wide with disbelief, then filled with a pain that made my stomach turn. I wanted to scream, to rewind time, to erase the last few months. But I was frozen, trapped in the reality of my actions. "Dad?" she whispered, her voice barely audible. I couldn't meet her gaze. I felt a wave of nausea, the weight of my betrayal crushing me. Sarah, her face flushed and panicked, tried to say something, but I cut her off with a silent, desperate shake of my head. Amid Kelly yelling Sarah and I scrambled to get dressed. I heard our garage open and I froze. Why now, I yell in my head. Jamie walked in, then Eleanor followed a few minutes later, his cheerful chatter dying in his throat. He looked from Kelly to Sarah, then to me, his brow furrowed in confusion. Eleanor, man, the realization dawned on her slowly. The color drained from her face, leaving her pale and trembling. The silence in the house was deafening. It was a silence filled with shattered trust and the crushing weight of my infidelity. I had destroyed the sanctuary I'd built, the family I loved. Eleanor didn't say a word to me. She told Kelly and Jamie to go pack everything they could. Then she went to our bedroom to pack her things. Sarah called an Uber since we took my car. Right after she left, so did the kids and Eleanor. I got no calls, no texts, not even an email. No yells apart from when Kelly did. The air in the house was thick with a coldness that seeped into my bones, a constant reminder of my betrayal. Eleanor's brother Theo confronted me and Sarah at our workplace. He was raging. "How could you do this, Ralph?" he asked. "How could you betray her like this, with some tramp?" Before Sarah could say anything back, our company's HR and security got involved. We were called into HR after Theo was let out by security. In HR, I felt like I was going to throw up. So many questions, yet I had no answers, no excuses that could justify my actions. I had traded years of love and trust for a fleeting moment of selfish pleasure. We were sent home pending an investigation. It was humiliating. After days of being home alone, I started trying to make amends, but every attempt felt clumsy and inadequate. I'd bring her favorite ice cream, hoping for a flicker of her old smile, but she just shut the door, her eyes filled with cold indifference. One night, I got a text, "I want a divorce, Ralph." All of a sudden, I couldn't breathe. I cried for the first time in 16 years. My chest felt so tight, like something was pressing down on me. The next day, I went to see her. She wasn't there, but her parents let me in to talk to the kids. Kelly didn't want to talk, so I chatted with Jamie and then left. I hadn't talked to Sarah since the investigation started. I didn't mind it, though. But then I got called to my company. Sarah told HR that I came on to her, and that she couldn't say no. I was almost let go until I called Sarah in front of HR. Sarah didn't know people were listening, so she spilled everything after I told her I would take her to court for lying about me. They decided to demote me and put me in another department, and Sarah, I don't know what happened with her. After seeing the kids and everything that happened with my company, I decided to give Eleanor the divorce only after we talked. When Eleanor and I finally came face to face, I wanted to run and hug her, but the look she gave me stopped me in my tracks. There was no love in her eyes. The look of disdain, rage, and hurt made my heart hurt. She didn't ask me why I did what I did. She didn't yell or anything. All I got was, "I'm sorry for my brother's behavior." After that, I did basically all of the talking. She didn't want anything from me, and she wanted the kids' feelings to always be respected, even if it meant they didn't want to see me. I tried to plead, to beg for forgiveness, but the words caught in my throat. I had no right to ask for anything. I had destroyed the foundation of our family, the trust that held us together. So I agreed. I told her to take half the money in the joint account for the kids and everything else I would accept. She nodded, then we signed what needed to be signed. Me and the kids had a sit down after that. Kelly stayed on her phone the whole time I tried to explain, and Jamie was quiet. I held Kelly's hand and said, "I'm sorry, Kelly," my voice thick with emotion. "I made a terrible mistake, a mistake I'll regret for the rest of my life." "You don't get it," she said, her voice breaking. "You broke us. You broke our family." Her words were like a physical blow, a stark reminder of the damage I'd inflicted. I realized then that apologies weren't enough. I had to earn back their trust, brick by brick. I started being present, truly present. I helped Jamie with his homework over the phone. I made dinner whenever it was my time to have them, even though I was a terrible cook. Kelly only came to watch over her brother. She was polite yet distant. It was suffocating. Jamie opened up a bit over video games and told me that Eleanor got them to see a therapist. I fought back tears hearing his words. How could I let this happen? I lost my loving wife. My daughter won't look me in the eyes. My son is the only one who looks at me like I'm not trash. It stayed this way until Kelly's 18th birthday. She started talking to me again, though her voice was still guarded. Jamie began asking me about cars. Eleanor started to tolerate my presence, a small victory. I was willing to try to do whatever it took to earn back their love and respect, because without them, I was nothing. But then Jamie shattered my world once again with, "Mommy's boyfriend is a cool guy, and I like his car." "Your mother's new boyfriend?" I asked, my voice cracking slightly. Jamie looked at me with a smile and said yes. That's when Kelly jumped in. She told me they met him 2 months ago. After that, I was silent till the kids went back to their mom's place. I was never getting her back, and that broke me completely.